Greetings, beloveds. Where's your heart today? I need to put a disclaimer on this post that it does come with a trigger warning because the content could aggravate or upset one's emotions because it speaks to another level of trauma and pain. And so if you do feel that it's too much, please by all means stop watching. Breathing exercises could help. Speaking to somebody, if you've realized you've tapped into a trauma that you haven't dealt with and you haven't healed from or you haven't faced, that's okay. It's not your fault. There are various platforms where you can get that help. And if you don't know, then send me a DM and we can either do it at Letsatsi Healing Space or we can refer you to a space that you feel more comfortable with. And so the topic of this is about the reality behind the silencing of those who speak out against abuse. And I'm going to focus particularly within the South African media and entertainment industry. That's where majority of my paying career I've spent the last close to 3 decades in. And I've experienced firsthand. I've also needed to heal firsthand from those atrocities, and I know I'm not alone. And so I decided to do this topic after having a conversation with somebody last week, and I have consent to talk about it. Obviously, I won't mention their names. But there are a number of underlying factors, or rather repetitive actions that happen. And I'm sure this happens in other industries and other countries and so forth. But for those of you who have been in the entertainment industry for the last 20, 30, if not maybe 40 years, we all know about the silver bullet. And this was a term that was coined by certain perpetrators, their enablers, and it is a specific drug, which it could be Rohypnol, it could be a sleeping tablet. We're not quite sure what the contents of it are, but we do know that it's called the silver bullet. And that is what has been used to drug so many victims at events, popped into their drink, popped into their food. And then obviously when the person is inebriated or passed out or drugged, that is when they're taken advantage of. And so remember, if that has happened to you, it's not your fault. And that is a violation. That is rape. That is sexual violation, because you cannot consent to something if you're drugged, if you're drunk, or if you've passed out. And it's not coercive. If somebody deliberately puts something into your drink or your food or injects something into your body without your consent, that is against the law. And so I needed to bring this up because it seems that that silver bullet seems to have been doing the rounds again. And how do we stop it? We don't know, because there's so many layers and facets to how perpetrators are protected, how they have strategically placed enablers in situations to protect them, how they're protected by their corporates, by their agencies, by their labels, wherever they are. They know that they can get away with it. And so the work that we do as activists and feminists, we're not going to stop, obviously, and that's why I'm talking about this, because it's a reality. But this is for those who, unfortunately, who have been that and have woken up, not knowing what happened the night before. It's not your fault. It never was your fault. It never will be your fault. And the other aspect of what happens in our industry, and this is also speaking from experience, and once again the same conversation that I had with this person afterwards, is that it seems the latest trend now for agents, and certain agents, not all, and certain production houses, not all, when you do go and report either sexual harassment or sexual violence or anything that happens, abuse that happens within the production, whether it happens on set, in a rehearsal space, on stage, or whatever it is, the new trend seems to be to whip out an NDA, and the person who's spoken up automatically is forced to sign that, thus disabling you and not allowing you to push forward and make the necessary accusations against the person, or take the legal route in this case with this person, because it's just easier just to silence the victim, because, as they say, the show must go on. So be very, very wary if you do have an agent who does that, or if you have an agent like in previous years who said to me, don't speak too much because then people won't want to work with you. And of course, my retaliation was that if they are pushing sexual harassment and sexual violence, and said, why would I want to work with them anyway? Hence, she's an ex-agent, and this was in my former career as an actor. And so be wary of what happens. The reality is there. If it does happen to you, don't allow anybody to gaslight you. And be very wary of what you sign. And then also, if you have in the past, and we know that certain individuals, when they get involved with a person, or they invite young girls to a party, these girls are forced to sign an NDA. And if you've been forced to sign that NDA, check the validity of that. Because it was just last year we checked one that was actually cut and paste from a UK website, which means it falls under the UK legal system, which doesn't stand grounding in South Africa. So as we all work towards bringing justice and bringing an end to this revolting and disgusting level of abuse, we still need to be vigilant. We still need to be aware. And for those of you who it hasn't happened to you, that's great. But then use your agency as being a proper ally. If you know something has happened, hold that person accountable. Step up for them. If I have triggered you, if I have caused any pain, I'm truly sorry. But these are things that we need to talk about. These are the realities that we face within our country, and particularly within our media industry. If you need a little bit more information, pop me a DM. As I said, counseling through Ladasi Healing Space. If we have capacity, we offer pro bono. Otherwise, we will refer you. And that is pro bono for counseling only. But remember, you're not alone. Thanks so much for listening.